Hello and welcome to the One Moment. I'm going to take off my mask only for this taping so that I can speak to you clearly. I assure you I wear this mask at all times and I'm more than 6 feet from any human being. There is a very cute cat to my left, but she's not contagious. Hello, I'm Ron Weich and I'm the Dean of the University of Baltimore School of Law. I'm very proud to welcome you to the 2020 awards ceremony. This is an event which we would typically hold in the Byron L. Warnken Moot Courtroom, and it's a joyous occasion. The courtroom is filled with excited students and their supportive classmates and cheering family members. Well, of course, we can't do that this year because of the COVID-19 pandemic. This is a virus that has upended life in so many ways, but among other things, it prevents us from gathering on this particular occasion. So instead, I am videotaping an award ceremony in which I will recognize the excellence of our graduating students. And let me say, we are not going to let this moment pass. This virus has held us back in many ways, but we are going to recognize the excellence that you have shown in so many ways during your 3 or 4 years at UB School of Law. So thank you very much for watching and being with us, and let's get started right away. Our first recognition is of academic excellence. And of course, we begin with the naming of the valedictorian and salutatorian for the class of 2020. I'm very pleased to announce that your valedictorian is Rebekah Nickerson. Rebekah is an evening student who, despite holding a very demanding full-time job, has managed to attain a 4.12 grade point average. And at the same time, she's been active in the school as a production editor of the Law Review, and she's heading for a great career. She's going to be clerking for Judge Joseph Getty on the Maryland Court of Appeals, and then will be an associate at Saul Ewing. So we congratulate Rebekah for this accomplishment and for her academic excellence. Close behind Rebekah is the salutatorian, Raquel Flynn. Raquel is a very special member of our community because she was an undergraduate at the University of Baltimore and came to the law school as part of the 3-3 accelerated program. So Rebekah was a woman on a mission. She knew exactly what she wanted to accomplish, and she came to UB and she really killed it. She had a grade point average of 4.05, and she was active as well in student affairs as a member of the honor board. Raquel will be clerking for Judge Stuart Berger on the Maryland Court of Special Appeals, and then will be an associate at Venable. We congratulate our 2 academic award winners, and at the commencement ceremony, when it finally occurs, we'll have an opportunity to hear from Rebekah as she delivers the valedictorian's address. Next, we want to recognize special academic achievement in distinct areas of the curriculum, and there are several. First of all, we have the J. Ronald Schiff Award for Academic Excellence in Tax Law, and this goes to the individual who had the highest grade point average of all the students graduating from the UB Graduate Tax Program during the 2018-19 academic year. And I'm pleased to announce that the winner of this award is Ryan Bixler. Ryan received his MS in tax in December of 2018 and has just been a stellar student in that field of law under the directorship of Professor Fred Brown. So congratulations to Ryan Bixler. The next special academic award is for the Director's Award in the Center for International and Comparative Law, and this award goes to Nassim Jabari. Nassim, according to Professor Tim Sellers, the director of the program, Nassim has been an indispensable part of the international law program at the University of Baltimore. She's been involved in all aspects of the Center on International and Comparative Law's work, and has been an excellent student in international law classes. According to Professor Sellers, she does her job and everybody else's job as well. So we recognize her excellence and we congratulate Nassim on this award. Let me now turn to several clinic excellence awards. As you know, the clinics at the University of Baltimore are among the best things that we do. We are nationally renowned for the kinds of hands-on work that we do as students learn to practice law and as we serve vulnerable clients in our community. There are 3 clinic awards, co-winners for the Clinic Excellence Award, and then a special award that I'll speak to next. The 2 winners of the Clinic Excellence Award this year are Ryan Fish and Christina Araviakis. Ryan was a student in the Innocence Project Clinic, where his professors found him to be diligent, dedicated to his clients, and especially attentive to the details of the cases, which are so important in efforts to exonerate wrongfully convicted individuals. Whether drafting pleadings or interviewing clients, Ryan brought excellent analytic skills and thoroughness. He was a joy to teach, and we congratulate him for receiving this Clinic Excellence Award. His co-winner for the Clinic Excellence Awards is Christina Araviakis, who was enrolled in the Human Trafficking Prevention Project. Christina is a professional, very organized, committed to her clients. Thanks to Christina, one of her clients was the first trafficking survivor ever to have her prostitution convictions vacated in Baltimore County. So this was an achievement, and Christina deserves much credit for this. Christina's professors were impressed by her research skills and her hard work advocating for clients. Good work, Christina. Finally, I'm pleased to announce that the CLIA Outstanding Clinic Student Award, this is the Clinical Law Association from the Association of American Law Schools, and we are allowed to select one student for this special award, a certificate from the Clinical Law Association, and that award goes to Lisa Whiteleather. Lisa was a student in the Bob Parsons Veterans Advocacy Clinic. She displayed excellent research and writing skills and an indefatigable work ethic on behalf of her clients, including an individual who received a military discharge upgrade after being discharged with post-traumatic stress disorder, and she worked as well on complex VA benefits cases. So congratulations to Lisa for her accomplishments. Next, we turn to recognition of the students who dedicated themselves to pro bono legal representation. Pro bono, for the public good, is one of the most important things that lawyers and law students can do. We ask for students to consider volunteering their time to help individuals in the community, typically through the legal services organizations here in Maryland. And some students go above and beyond their obligation, and we recognize them now. We recognize them in different categories. The highest level is the platinum level, and here we congratulate Peyton Aldrich, Adrian Blake, Jessica Blumberg, Tia Holmes, and Hudson Miller. At the gold level, we congratulate and recognize Kathleen Godwin. And finally, at the bronze level, we recognize Kadeen Augustine and Magdala Norton. So thank you, students, all of you students, the ones I mentioned and others, who devoted time to assisting clients. You have busy lives as law students, some of you working as well, and yet you found time to dedicate yourselves to pro bono activities, and we appreciate that. And I now want to single out one particular student who receives the 2020 Pro Bono Challenge Award, and this is selected by the Law Career Development Office. Dean Fio and her colleagues in that office have chosen Tia Holmes as the 2020 Pro Bono Challenge Award winner. Tia is an evening student, so she has a full-time job, yet she has dedicated considerable time to pro bono activities throughout her law school career and was recognized by the Homeless Persons Representation Project for her outstanding efforts on their behalf. So congratulations to Tia. Several of our students received fellowships. These were competitive fellowships, which will enable them to progress in their career after law school. So we want to congratulate Elizabeth Paige for receiving the Maryland Legal Aid Fellowship. The Office of Public Defender Fellowships this year went to 3 students, Stephanie DeLang, Najah Richardson, and Alexandra Waller. And finally, the Silverman, Thompson, Slutkin, and White Fellowship was awarded to Joel Jordan, who spent a productive summer at that law firm and has an opportunity to move on in his career with that important credential on his resume. So we congratulate all of those students for receiving fellowships. And it's time for me to present 2 very special awards. These are awards that we would typically present at the commencement ceremony, but we won't have a live commencement ceremony this year, at least not at this moment. We will later in the year. But I want to recognize these individuals now before they leave law school. The faculty chooses 2 members of the class, one from the day program and one from the evening program, for their academic excellence and their service to the school. So this is really where it comes together for being both outstanding in the classroom and outside the classroom. I'm very proud to announce that the winner of the Law Faculty Award from the Day section is Sumbul Alum. Sumbul, of course, had a strong GPA, which is she was in the top 25% of the class, which is a criterion for receiving this award. But in addition, she was a wonderful citizen of the law school. She chaired the honor board, which of course is very sensitive responsibility. She was the president of the UB chapter of the National Lawyers Guild. She was active in the National Asian Pacific American Law Student Association. So she's just been great in every respect at the school. She will be joining Ballard Spahr, an excellent law firm, as an associate after graduation, and she has made us very proud during her time at UB School of Law. The Law Faculty Award for an evening student goes to Joshua Perry. Josh has been really helpful to us in so many ways, and especially in his work to help us recruit new students through his work with the Law School Admissions Office. Josh came to us after receiving an MBA from the University of Chicago. He currently works as a portfolio manager at Brown Advisory and is going to continue in that work, now armed with a law degree and with this credential on his resume. So Josh, thank you very much for all you've done to strengthen the UB School of Law, and congratulations on receiving this prestigious award. Finally, I'm going to turn to the Dean's citations. This, of course, is very special to me. I get to choose certain students on the advice of my colleagues in the law school administration and the faculty, students who have really distinguished themselves for their work to advance justice within the law school and to make sure that the University of Baltimore School of Law is as strong as it can be in every respect. And so I'm going to read a list of names and tell you just a little bit about each of these people. There were 12 award winners this year, citation winners. John Anderson receives a Dean Citation Award. John graduated last December. While he was here, he was an officer in the Student Bar Association and a very active member of the Honor Board. Kimberly Andrews played a special role in directing the Mental Health Wellness Week that we had at the law school, the first one that we've ever had at UB. But she was the Mental Health Program Director for the Student Bar Association, and her special work on that project merits her receiving a Dean's Citation. Christina Araviakis, we heard earlier in this ceremony for her excellent work as a clinic student, but she receives the Dean Citation Award also for being executive editor on the Law Review, being active in the Women's Bar Association, and for being a fine citizen of the law school. Adrian Blake graduated last December. When Adrian was here, she was an active member of the Honor Board, was active in the Law Review, and was chair of the UB Government and Military Law Association. Congratulations and thank you, Adrian. Michael DeStefano has been a great member of the student body and a member of my leadership class, so I've gotten to know Mike in that capacity. He had a very important role as symposium editor for the Law Forum and staged an excellent symposium on the Baltimore City Charter. So we're proud of Mike and very pleased to award him a Dean Citation Award. Ryan Frace receives a Dean Citation Award. One of the most important things we do every year at UB is UB Spy. The Students for Public Interest stage an auction that raises a good deal of money for student fellowships. And Ryan was one of two directors of that program this year. He's also an officer in the International Law Society, and he deserves a Dean Citation Award for that work. Alana Glover, also a member of my leadership class, and so she's destined to be an excellent leader in the Maryland legal community. Alana was an editor of the UB Law Review and staged a symposium on the lingering effects of slavery on criminal justice policies in America today. For her strong work in that field and so many other activities, we award Alana Glover a Dean's Citation Award. Tia Holmes, we heard earlier, was the Pro Bono Challenge Award winner, but she also receives a Dean Citation Award for that and for her work on the Law Review, the Student Bar Association, and the Moot Court Board. Thank you, Tia, for all of your hard work. Harita Joshi as president of the Student Bar Association, and she played a special role as the student representative on the Faculty Appointments Committee. Thank you, Harita, for all you did to make the UB School of Law as good as it can be. Adrian Martinez receives a Dean Citation Award. Adrian was a member of the Honor Board, an editor of the Law Forum, and active in the University of Baltimore chapter of Outlaw. Thank you, Adrian, for all of your good work at the law school. Matthew Michael receives a Dean Citation Award for a special project. it was Matthew who directed the Student Bar Association's Diversity Council. This was a very time-consuming activity to develop the criteria for having a diversity council. It's the first time we've done this at UB. They've done excellent work under Matthew's strong leadership, and we commend him and award him a Dean Citation Award. And the final Dean Citation Award, only because she's at the end of the alphabet, that's the only reason she's at the end, is Lauren Waldt, who, with Ryan, was one of the directors of UB SPY. UB SPY was especially exciting this year, raised a lot of money for student public interest work, and we congratulate Lauren for her work, and I'm pleased to award her a Dean Citation. So that concludes our award ceremony. I'm very pleased and proud of the award recipients, pleased to be with all of you to announce those. I wish we were in person, but we do want to recognize your excellence, and as you go forth into the world, you carry with you these important credentials, the recognition of your excellence in law school. Thank you so much for all that you've done at UB, and we'll see you next at the virtual commencement. Let me put on my mask and say, stay safe, stay healthy.